Well, hello and welcome to episode 73. Oh, forgot to turn on a light. Hang on. Is that better? I mean, it's like, I don't know. We'll see. Anyway, this is chapter 73 of World's Longest Suicide Note. My name is Roger. I'm suicidal at times when I'm having a really bad day. And I've lived with it for a very long time. So, but what I'm not is any kind of professional at life. I'm not a mental health provider of any kind, and I'm not somebody who you should be basing your life choices on. So, for what that's worth. Just some perspectives of mine, and I'm talking about one of the things I'm going to talk about today. Well, probably the thing I'm going to talk about today is disappointment, and not from my point of view, not my disappointment. I mean, I'm okay being disappointed. I expect it to a large degree. So I'm just going to start throwing in some background colors. Gonna make this green. Some different colors of green, shades of green, whatnot. So disappointment. And this, the painting I'm doing, and I'm going to kind of move it around so you can see. I guess you can't really. I'll move the camera for the next one. I'm just doing some. Oh, where did I get that? Where's that paint come from? Oh, I put my wrist right in the paint. Oh no. Oh no. What is this, amateur hour? Apparently. Well, unquestionably. This is amateur hour. Did I get in? Time out. I could totally edit this out, but again, there is no. Life is unedited. Shit. I do like acrylics for its the ease in cleaning, especially when you do it as much as I do. All right, well, it's going to be what it's going to be. I just got to pay attention. All right. I'm very disappointed in myself for that. Not really. Anyway, so I was going to show you. I got paint on this too. Is the thing I'm painting. Let me put it like where you can see it. We've all seen this dude. It's going to be right into the other paint. The look of disappointment. And so I'm painting it just because I'm going to be talking about it. This is, and I'm going to be talking about it for a bit of time. Not like every single video, but I've in going through my therapy, I've been processing that I hate the prospect of disappointing people. I was raised very religious, and we've talked about that. But also to be a people pleaser. I'm very much, and I don't want to make that sound like that's a bad thing. I mean, it could be. I feel like I came out of the womb wanting to help. I do love to help. I do love to be a part of the solution rather than the problem. So it checks boxes for me So I don't want to make it sound like I don't want to be, that I'm saying yes just to say yes. I genuinely do want to help. I genuinely do want to be a part of good things happening. So, but that does make it very easy for me to fall into that mode where, to be a yes man kind of situation. And so I understand that, but part of what I've been dealing with going through this therapy is that one of the levers that can easily be used against me, and I totally realize this, is disappointment. If someone's disappointed in me, it bothers me greatly. So, yeah, that's something that it drives me. I makes me feel like I have to be this perfect person when I know that, because if I'm not, then people perhaps may be disappointed when they find out that I'm not perfect. Apparently I was going for the title of Jesus. That's the whole idea or something. I don't know. But regardless, I'm going to flip this around so I can get the other side. And then I'll start the other. I'm just doing, when I do backgrounds, I don't want the background to take, I want it to be there and I want it to look good. But the background is not the top, the point, the focal point, what I'm trying to, and I don't want it taken away from the actual focal point, which is that dude's face and stature. So yeah. The question is, once you realize that, what's next? What happens? But it's really fascinating, and I do find it fascinating how we take things on like that. There's no, I've never, and I've talked about this. I've talked about everything. I've never been a perfectionist. Perfection is not something that I hold. But the funny thing is, I kind of expect myself to be that. It bothers me when I'm not, especially when it comes to interaction with other people. So, and I've put myself in bad positions just because I've wanted to help so much that I end up hurting myself. I lose sleep, I stress, I obsess, all of the above about certain things and timelines and not wanting to let anyone down and that whole situation. So going way back in my life, we've been kind of like doing going back in time and seeing to the extent of what this really means and how long and where it developed and the whole thing. It's fairly eye-opening, which I would assume anytime you actually look for causes and you have that potential to be surprised, to be like, oh wow, I didn't realize that that's the way that was, but it makes sense when you start figuring things out and you do some real processing work. on those things, you also begin to understand that those things actually, account for a lot of the questions like, why did I do that? What was it about this that, made me put myself in? Anyway, you ask those, you start checking those boxes like, oh, well, that makes a lot of sense. When I go back in my life to the times when I was crazy stressed out and all the above, I was doing a lot of stuff that maybe, even though I wanted to help, even though I thought I was doing good things, it turns out not so much. And so that's big, because you're starting to get answers to a lot of the questions that you used to have about, what makes me do these things. So highly encourage, to answer those questions for yourself that may not get as much attention, because they're wrapped in positivity, meaning that you don't really think about them as much, just because the fact is that it did good. You raise money for something, or you help somebody out, or something that was attached to it that was a good feeling, but in actuality you put yourself in conflict to do that. So, and then you wonder why you feel the way that you did all those times. So disappointment for me, that's a big one. The idea that, and for me, it's not like someone has to say, oh, I'm disappointed in you. It's a lot perceived. I know my mom told me one time that she was disappointed in me, and it really, it sucked. It was like kind of a big moment. Because I remember it. The funny thing is, I can't remember what I did, but I can remember what she was wearing. I can remember how I felt about it. I can remember a lot about it. I can't remember what I did to disappoint so much, which is, I think that's telling too. It's like, it says something about I was more impacted by those words than by what I did. And granted, moms sometimes will just get dramatic to make a point. Doesn't have to actually be, super valid point. But anyway, and I will say that my mom knew exactly what to do and say. She didn't have to say she was disappointed, but as leverage, because of the person who I was, in the sense of I wanted to help, I wanted to do the right thing, and so a lot of it I did to myself. It was perceived, and that was enough for me. So you didn't really have to take that next step. You really never had to reach too deep into a bag of tricks, because I was doing a lot of it to myself. It seemed, so again, one of the big things is that I've been a dick to myself a lot. Been hard on myself, expected things that I had no really right to expect of myself, because I'm a human, and nobody's perfect. But it's interesting to see the dynamics that drive a person. the dynamics that drive us all. It's kind of, I mean, I find it very interesting. Kind of scary sometimes because a lot of it we just gloss over or don't really connect dots or not even trying really to do that. You know, we hit a place where it feels like, okay, well, I don't have capacity to do this anymore as far as trying to figure out this, so I'm just going to say this is how it is. But once you realize things, then you can adjust behavior around it. So knowing that I am driven by disappointment, that it's a lever that can easily be used against me. What does that do? Well, it changes my thought process, for sure. It has to, because I can't allow it to. It's not like I need to eliminate every weak spot. I cannot show weakness kind of situation. It's not that at all. But it's what that does to me, and being able to prevent that from happening more. That's what that does. So it allows me to process better and make better decisions to keep myself out of those issues moving forward. And really that's the biggest thing I would say happens is that now I have better tools to be able to like process things as they come and not allow myself to fall into any kind of trap. You know, I know it going in, and so if I make a decision knowing that, then I'm willing to take the consequences for it because I feel that it's worth that, and I'm not doing it to satisfy my need to not disappoint somebody. I'm going into something knowing my capacity and my understanding, and I'm not doing it to avoid disappointment. I'm doing it because, put my finger right in that spot. I'm doing it because of the greater good, and I've done the cost-benefit analysis, and this is something that's within my abilities to do, and I'm going to set healthy boundaries along those lines so that I never set out to disappoint anybody, knowing that that's never like, okay, well, let's hope I don't disappoint. So it's not, you don't really have control over, you start down a path and you don't know what's going to come up to stand in your way, but you're just going to keep moving forward. But those things are what could cause some disappointment. So keeping open communication, setting boundaries around your participation in that activity or towards that purpose, and then just communicate about things, because I'm a big fan now of communication. So I know that I can communicate and also prevent disappointment on the other side when things do happen, not trying to like, okay, I'm behind because something else came up, so now I got to spend all night working on it, and I'm going to not get the rest that my body needs. And that's going to affect me negatively the rest of the week, but I don't want to. So no, now it's like, let's talk about it. Hey, something came up. Just want you to know that this may not happen exactly as we had discussed, or whatever that looks like. But instead of just trying to because before I would never want to bring that to anyone's attention. No. That's just let's power through it. We'll we'll pull an all-nighter and it'll be fine. And I've pulled all-nighters or half-nighters or far too late, way past bedtimers, to get things done instead of just communicating and saying, hey, this may be late or this may change due to circumstances. And that's okay. I mean, it's okay with me. Whether it's okay with anyone else, I have to learn. I have to learn to because no matter what heroic things I do, like efforts I put in, it's not going to be enough for some people, and that's when that would still eat me up. That would still eat me up, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm learning new procedures and new things that I could use that will, allow me to be more proactive with my perceived disappointment in that situation. So if that makes sense. Yeah. So anyway, this is just a super basic background. I'm going to take a towel and kind of smear it a little bit just to give it a design. But that's about it. Backgrounds are important, but again, they're not the show. So I'm just gonna get it like a wet rag, and while it's still a little damp, and I could kind of blur the edges here, blurred lines. So yes, disappointment. Don't allow disappointment to adjust who you are and what you want to accomplish in this life, because that's just not. Oh, what happened there? Yeah, put a little more paint there. Yeah, and it's some of the pink still shows through. That's fine. I don't care, because the whole idea is the rest of the pink on the person is going to. Sorry, I'm off camera, but I want to get this side. And now, of course, I've already said all I'm going to say about it, but I'm keeping you. I don't get paid for these extra minutes when you're just kind of like, before I turn off the camera. All right, that's it. Anyway, I'm going to let you go. Have a great day. Have an amazing day. Do something nice for somebody, especially yourself. And we'll catch you on the next one. Keep fighting. And bye.